Welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. Now, we'll be joined by Mikyx shortly, but first I thought the better support should give you guys a rundown on the state of the league before the last day of the regular season. I'm getting some death stares from over there right now. Let's talk a little bit about top 8. Obviously, today with Astralis beating Fnatic, things changed up a little bit. The winner of this second game is going to advance to the group stage, right? So Koi, if they manage to win this game, would, well, I've got, sorry, lock in top 4 there. I can change that to lock in top 8. They get to 4 and 5, so they would advance. If Astralis win the second game, they then advance to the group stage with that 4 and 5 score. Fnatic have to win their game versus SK to get a tiebreaker game. If they do win that game, they are guaranteed a tiebreaker game with whoever loses between Koi and Astralis. As you can see here, they'd both be at 3 and 6, and we always play a tiebreaker game for 8th place, even if one team has the head-to-head. Let's talk a bit about top 2. Now, if you're first or second seed, actually doesn't matter too much. What matters is getting into that top 2 because you're split between the 2 groups. At the moment, Vitality, Mad Lions, G2, and SK can all fight for that top 2 position. Let's talk about the winner of this 4th game. If Mad Lions win, they will lock into our top 2 because they'd be at 7 and 2 and people couldn't catch them. If G2 win, they'll lock into our top 2. It's very simple. You just have to win or lose your games, you know? Alongside that, if Vitality beat XL, they'll lock into the top 2. Isn't that marvelous? It's enough for me, though. Let's hear from Laure, Guldborg, and Mikyx, who are standing by.
Thank you, Medic and Mikyx. Thank you for joining me. Anything to say about the opening comment to this segment? Maybe you'll let it fly. It's fine. You're over this, and you're above this, of course. I want to follow up on the predictions and the playoff group stage format discussion. Who do you think makes it tomorrow?
Well,
Mad Lions.
I think, yeah. I mean, let's just say who will not make it.
Yeah,
I guess
right,
XL.
yeah.
I think they will not
XL?
make it because they're already out. And then, yeah, I think Fnatic has a tough game versus SK, even though SK went 0-2, I believe, this week.
Yeah.
I still think they are better than Fnatic. So I can see Fnatic dropping out. And Koi has who? Astralis.
Where has Astralis? Yeah.
I would say Fnatic drops out, yeah, with XL and the rest.
All right, GB for the spicy prediction.
I mean, I thought I gave mine today with Astralis over Fnatic already.
I know you're
going
an
into
Astralis enjoyer, so it's...
Yeah, okay, where did that come from? Because there's definitely other teams that I enjoy way more. No flame,
yeah.
but yeah. Yeah, I would pretty much have to agree with most of that. I think it's pretty good assessments of it.
Yeah, it's looking really, really bad for Fnatic. We'll talk about this later, of course, because first match of the week, G2 win versus Koi. Rematch of the semifinals. You were not playing semifinals, not to throw any shade or anything, but how was this game for you? Seems rather one-sided.
This game was pretty nice. We got a pretty good lead. I mean, mid got punished once. He was like, he was going for a solo bolo, he was saying, but then he was like, I'm dead. And then, I mean, after we got this, it felt like the game was pretty easy. And after we got to pick on Maokai as well, because actually, I don't know how that even connected, but hey. Anyway, we got a kill, and then from that point onwards, the game was really easy. We got every Drake, we got every Herald, and then we just ran around the map until... Actually, I guess this fight is the one that kind of sealed the deal, because there was still a chance we lose here. But I think we had a good cocoon on the Azir, and then I queued after, so he couldn't actually do anything, and then we won the game here. So the game felt pretty simple after that, and yeah.
Absolutely crazy as well. It just feels like it's a normal G2 game as well. It's like, get a couple kills in the early game, and what do you do then? Well, you keep repeating it. Kill your enemies, get the objectives, win the game. It's just easy peasy.
You say normal G2 game. I'm not quite sure I agree here, because we saw some funny G2 games also, which is the normal G2 games. Mikyx, you lived through the golden age of G2. We had some funny games back then too. Is it trying too much, limit testing, the losses you suffered? How did you recover from last week?
Well, I think after last week we went 1-2, we couldn't really afford to, you know, try too many fun games or try too many picks, so we just kind of played and drafted whatever we thought was best. And yeah, at least I think last week's games, we got caught off guard a little bit. So this week we made sure that we can't get caught off guard. And so far it worked, 2 games, you know. Hopefully we're gonna be ready for tomorrow as well. But so far, looking good.
So you say that a lot of that come down to format as well, with how the new format goes. Like in the other format, there was like a lot of weeks where you could like, well, I guess we can suffer one loss if we want to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could for sure try a lot more picks if there was more games, because we're basically already in playoffs by this point, I would say, or something like this.
Right.
So we could experiment a little bit. Of course, you want to lock for first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure. I want to touch on the format a bit later, but first talking about the bot lane and the bot lane meta also. Because in the meta in which people mostly play ranged support, you thrive playing melee support. So your thoughts on the support meta right now and how wide it is and how much picks you can play?
You're my hero for that as well. Like, the fact that we don't have to watch the same range supports every game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both are quite viable. Like, and I think I like the meta right now because you can kind of play anything. And in our games, I feel like melee supports just fit better in the games we play. I think, except for maybe one game where we had, I think yesterday we had Maokai, Rai, something. Maybe Nautilus was like not needed, but it was still just a fine pick. So I just picked it because it was Lucianami, right? But for example, today, I think if you have a range support plus Elise, Jace, we don't really have much engaged. So if you fall behind, it's going to be hard to get back into the game. So I just think melee supports fit that gap that you get from picking early Elise or like just carry junglers in general. So yeah.
I'm wondering how much it's going to change next week, because next week we're going to have a new patch. Yumi being dead, not dead, Schrodinger's cat here. We don't know what's going to be the state of this champion. After 37 nerfs, I think. Is she finally gone, you think?
I would say so, yeah. I think her solo queue win rate is like the lowest it's ever been, probably. And, well, I don't know. She just doesn't seem very good anymore. Maybe it will be like 5 pick at some point, if it's like a perfect situation for Yumi, but I even doubt that will happen. So yeah, I think we're safe for now.
Do you feel like we're going to see more bot lane shenanigans as well with AD carry items, with crit items on 2 now with IE and the Warrior as well?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more variety in that regard. And I think Lucianami got another nerf as well. So
it's not that big.
That could, yeah, but it's like maybe it's not first pick worthy anymore, as a lot of people do it. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Are you getting Dylan ready for the specific bot lane?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff prepared.
Everything's prepared.
The problem is Dylan, he needs to let me play it.
We have to go something. I mean, you ask Caps maybe for advice, how it goes. Let's take a look maybe at the schedule we have for tomorrow, last day of the regular season. Mikyx set up the stage earlier. Very interesting game so far we have, but GB, which one do you have your eyes on in particular? There's a lot at stake here in lots of games.
I think the finally getting secured who will be the couple teams that will join us in the group stage from the lower end is super interesting. So the Koi Astralis one is definitely one to tune into. But in terms of the one that will have the biggest impact, I am looking at G2 and Mad Lions. High caliber gameplay, and also looking at which team will actually secure that first place.
What's your read on Mad Lions, Miky?
I think they seem pretty decent. I feel like a lot of their games are a little bit flipped though. Like, I don't know. I'm not like too convinced. We'll see tomorrow how good they are. Maybe they're just insane, But a lot of games I feel like they're behind, but then they suddenly randomly get a few fights and then they win. Like in the game today as well, they should have lost, I think. So yeah, I think they're a bit of a weird team. So I'm looking forward to playing them to see for myself how they are. Because apparently they're a very different beast than in scrims.
So we hear. I'm really excited about the jungle matchup, JB, mostly.
I think so as well. Elyoya has been cemented as the best jungler, at least last year we had in the league. And, I think there can be made multiple cases this year as well. We've had an amazing talent pool in the jungle. Chio showed it earlier as well. Bo, of course, in here. And probably the one who had the most hype around him in the first week after he played was Yike as well. So seeing how Yike and Elyoya is going to match up against each other tomorrow will be really interesting. I say that, and then maybe it's Maokai Sejuani, and not that interesting, but get it out there.
You never know. G2 Mad, though, is going to be really interesting and important for the league because it's the fight for top 2. Winner of this game will lock top 2 going into the group stage. And Miky, I wanted to touch on the format, new one this year. You've been playing for such a long time in Europe. Is it a welcome change?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really fast-paced. I like playing 3 games in a week, and it doesn't feel so long. Even though we only have 3 days of scrims, it feels nice because usually 4 days maybe it's a little bit. It gets a bit boring, and like playing for more weeks. So the regular split being done in 3 weeks is really nice. and the standings are a lot more hype. Every match is more hype to watch as well. So overall, I like it, yeah.
I'm curious as well because we talk about format, but we also have the fact that it's the same patch throughout all 3 weeks. And now that we finally reached the 3rd week, how have you felt like playing the same patch for so long?
I mean, I guess it's kind of similar because I think before it was 2 weeks, it was the same patch. Now it's 3, so it's like 1 more. But it's kind of whatever, I feel like. I mean, it's a bit annoying that solo queue is on a different patch. But yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of used to it.
Yeah, okay.
When it comes to best of 3, best of 5, I know that for years we've been hearing that this is what is going to make Europe better and better when it comes to international tournaments especially. But I'm just wondering, how difficult is it for you? You said that you have 3 days to scrim instead of 4 before. Do you feel more tired or that the format is more demanding in terms of performance and focus maybe? Still the beginning of the year, but I'm just wondering how this one is going to turn out.
No,
in the long
not
run.
yet,
Yeah.
I think. I think...
Do you need some water?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. I think it was maybe more like it was more annoying before because it was 4 days and then it was like a lot more weeks. So then always in the middle, it gets a bit boring or it gets stale when you're just like repeating the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
But now it feels a lot more hype as well because you have you have less days to prepare, so you need to be always ready and you just talk about the game all the time. And I guess it's maybe also the environment we have, but every day feels really nice to scrim. That usually doesn't happen in teams. So yeah, I don't really feel like it's too much or anything.
And I think it's more hype also on our side. GB, I don't know how
I mean, this is the most excited I've been just following teams. Like, I mean, last year it was barely a hurdle getting through some of the BDS games as well, especially when it was so long. And now you can be excited for everyone, and even for the teams that are towards the bottom, they're still exciting to watch because you know, like, it's now or never, and then they're going to be out and you go into the group stage with best of 3 now coming. So I think this is just a taste of the beginning. Best of 3 starts coming through, and then best of 5s. It's just ramping up to be glorious.
And starting next week, but before that, we have one last day of regular season tomorrow. Same time, same place. Mikyx will see you there. Best of luck against the Mad Lions. And also, thank you for joining us tonight. And now it's going to be the moment I dread every time.
I'm excited for this.
You were the one bringing this. GB was the one who pitched the PGL selfie to be taken with this devil's
Probably the
machine.
greatest idea I've ever had.
Okay, you know what? You take it then.
Mikyx, you want to take that photo?
I'll do it. 3rd time.
Hey, you're my host. I believe in you.
Thanks, everyone, for following us today. We'll be right back tomorrow. Last day of the regular season. See you then, and I will try my best not to mess it up this time again. There you go.
Yeah, you can make a peace sign.
Peace sign.
You took a photo?
Yeah, we have it. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. I hope it looks okay.
Adam first picking Darius, you didn't wonder? Come on, man.
He's just taunting Photon and Bo from their Champions Q banter that he can play things like Garen. I think they're laughing at each other. Photon just looked across. Bo is looking across.
Adam, watch me.
I'm up in 3, I'm here. I'm here, guys.
Okay. I have to give.
Go on me.
I'm on you.
You kill them all, okay? Kill them all.
I hold him.
Pentakill. It's a pentakill.
It's a penta for Dincher.
Already, 6 teams have locked their spot in the group stage with the 2 remaining spots up for grabs because the stakes have never been higher. I am referring to, of course, Astralis versus Fnatic.
Og ja, alle vidner i dag. Finn vil bringe Astralis til gruppespillet.
Immediately they engage. Tidal Wave trying to dissuade them. 113 still alive on the backline. Dale going in as well. And Kobe with Cullen is able to take down one. Wonder with one. Into a 3-man nah! Into the realm warp. It's destruction. It's devastation. It's death for Fnatic in the river.
Okay. Calm down. That was hype, but we calm down now. We get the break and push up a bit.
Fnatic on their way to their worst ever performance. And Finn will bury them underneath the ground of their own Nexus. Astralis will claim victory. Crash with the stun already on comp. Solar player on the backline. Larson now going in with him and survive. Hansama still surviving. Hansama is still alive.
But he is, as you say, gone. Pactus throws down a last breath. That is such an outlet for an ultimate. Exakick is murdering them all. And SK stamp their authority with a monster Baron play. It's a swan song tomorrow. The dream, the miracle run. It was not to be.
Someone has to lose, and it's a tough environment, you know.